G'day everyone, welcome to the SuperCoach seminar, the SuperCoach chat, whatever you want to call it, but this is the weekly roundup of not only how I went, but hopefully some trade ideas, some trade theories, some players to look at. It's just a chat about SuperCoach. It's all these good things. If you haven't subscribed yet already, please do so. I would really appreciate that. Hope you guys have had a fantastic weekend, and let me tell you, I am feeling like a fresh chef knife right out of the box. I'm looking sharp at the moment. Shout out to the old Frankston barber there. I am a Frankston guy. It's where I live, not where I'm from, but I know Frankston cops a lot of crap, but my God, I love living here. It's great. People are nuts. I love it. I'm here for it and all that good stuff. But enough about where I live before I give you my address, because that would be really weird. I've got the Hawthorn top on, fresh off recording the St Kilda preview for Talking Hawks. So if you're a Hawthorn fan and you want to check them out, please do so on YouTube. Subscribe, all that good stuff. TalkingHawks.com as well. We do written articles. I do a preview and a review for them, written as well as live streaming with those guys. We are looking to and are expanding both the written side of it and, of course, looking for people when it comes to live streaming and all that. We want to be building the Talking Hawks family. And we want to be building the Daz Talks footy community. But enough about me and my shameless plugs. Let's get to how I went this week. And this was a bad week for premiums, but with that in mind, I'm still not happy with how I went this week. So 21.57 is what we ended up as. Still ranked 26.727, which I'm not happy about. I'm really not. But when I looked at the Herald Sun journos, and this is the guys that made the game, I know the specific journos didn't, but to know that I'm ahead of about half of them is still fine with me. But Heath Shaw is ranked higher than me at the moment, and I know how bad he was last year. So I know there's a lot of improvement to do, and we can do that. 1 out of 5 league wins. I mean, 3 of those 4 losses were by under 100, so you take it or leave it. Although I'm not a player who plays 4 league wins, I still don't like seeing 4 losses. So congratulations to you all that got the chocolates. Hawker Jules, she's fantastic, been a long-time subscriber. She's now gotten the wood over me 2 weeks in a row in pretty close contests. So shout out to you, Jules. You're flying, I know that. Couple of good draft wins, 1960 from 18 players in the Friendly League, 1609. And the Daz Talks Footy League, good to get off the mark there with a win, although I think it might be my second win of the season. Still went up this week, 526 places, and if you are ranked not where you want to be at this point in the year, whether it's a little bit higher than me, lower than me, pretty similar, even if you're 8,000th and you want to go higher and higher and higher, as long as this tick here goes up, I can live with it. Again, I'm not 100% happy with where I am, but as long as it's going up, we can live with it. And as long as good decisions are made from here on out, that's all we can ask for. The first price changes have kicked in as well, so every decision from here is paramount. It seems like every decision I've made since the year started has been the wrong one. Took Crouch over Cripps, although Crouch was really good, and we'll touch on that in a tick. It's the wrong decision. Trading Jared Berry to Pat Lipinski at the time was a poor decision. Then trading Lipinski to Dylan Stephens looks like the wrong call, depending on team lists. Dylan Stephens might not even be selected with Justin McInerney coming back. So instead of going, so unlucky, it's let's look at the team you've got and let's make the decisions. 31 trades left. Even with the 5 extras, we cannot take our trades for granted. So as always, let's start with the team, and we'll talk about some ins and outs as well, and some players to keep an eye on, and I'll keep padding until the internet decides to work out really well, which it does. Backline, I can't complain about the backline. Stewart, Short did their jobs. I'll touch on Crisp in a minute, but Bowie, fantastic. Mitch Hinge, outstanding, and he looks like he'll be coming a def mid if the last 2 weeks are any indication, which will be good for some flexibility, I suppose, and we can move him maybe instead of a Crisp sort of to the midfield, especially if Dacos keeps rising in price as quickly as he is. Maybe Hinge can become a cash-in rookie option and swap those around at round 6. If Dacos ends up becoming a mid-def, so we don't know about that. I think his time back is only at about 23%. Someone will correct me in the comments, I'm sure, but he's not at that threshold if it was now. So let's go from there. Paddy McCartan did his job. Sam DeConning proved he's got chops at both ends of the ground, which is all we can ask for. But look at that CVC situation. Jack McRae, what the hell? 92. He lined up on a wing in the last quarter, and he's the kind of beautiful ball user that you think he can still score, but his body language was terrible. He just wasn't. he just didn't look as engaged as you want a player to be. And we know that he's got a reputation of sulking it up early in his career if the rumours are true. And we know how right and wrong footy rumours can be, but just not good. Lockie Neal, look, he did his ankle early in the game. It's just unlucky. You got to cop it. You got to move on in these situations sometimes. Jack Steele responded beautifully, 121, and he's got the Hawks this week, so he's definitely a captaincy option. He is most definitely a captaincy option. The Hawks are conceding points to midfielders magnificently if you're playing them. I'm, of course, Hawthorn supporter, so I'm not bagging them out too much. Matt Rowell didn't take a mark, still got 103. So tackling well, adding that to his game, and still doesn't look at his complete best. So although his break-even is a bit iffy, if you think you were going to keep him until the buys, don't worry about his price. It's as simple as that. Horn Francis was good. I mean, for his price, he's going up in price, still got a negative BE. I don't think anyone's upset with JHF right now. Nick Dacos, the Rising Star winner, and a huge congrats to him again. He's just going to keep climbing in price, so he's fine. Josh Ward and Dylan Stevens can join themselves together in sort of a one more week. So I think Dylan Stevens against North, if he's picked, I think he's going to score more than Ward will against St Kilda. Joshy Ward's had 43 disposals in the last 2 weeks and has only scored, I think, 110. So that is a little bit of a concern and not really what we want. But if Dylan Stevens isn't picked, and he most likely won't be picked the week after as well, he's going to be the guy that we cash in. Probably Connor McDonald, just keep doing your thing, Connor, and we'll cash you in when we can. I don't like the fact Machito Owens is there, but potentially might need to, get Yulin to another defender potentially. Who knows? But I've got sort of 2 options there. Again, I'm not thrilled about it, but, if Stevens does keep his spot, plays well, Josh Ward plays well, can I put Owens to a McEntee or someone like that who will be on the bubble at the end of next week? That's there. It's a sideways trade, sure, but it's cash generation. And Owens was good in the VFL as well, and the Saints, Jack Higgins is out, so, who do they bring in? Does Gresham play a more forward role, and does Owens go to a wing maybe, and they go at it like that? But who knows? I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that he plays, so, I'll keep him there. He is not the least of my worries, but he's not really a worry at this stage. I realised I didn't talk about Jack Crisp. What's he doing? What? Seriously. Jack, you're not a midfielder, Jack. So, go back to halfback. With Jordan De Goey out this week, he could score 120 on the Eagles, but it doesn't solve the problem. It's a really ugly situation. I called him the Rory Laird of last year, but he's not. He's just not. It's that simple. Jake Bowie is averaging more than Jack Crisp is. Make it make sense. He can't. It's that simple. Max Gawn realised that he can actually ruck in this competition, which is good, 117. But Brodie Grundy had a game-high 8 tackles, didn't take a mark, and played on Reece Stanley. Oh, jeez. What's he doing to us, seriously? All the obscure ruck picks right now are working out beautifully, and I'm happy for the coaches that went with them, but, set and forget and wanting to make moves otherwise, should still work for us, but my God, these two, can they figure it out at some point? That would be awesome. To the forward line, Dunkley, Tick, Heaney, a bit off, but I didn't bring him in to then trade him out after a week. 88, if that's where he's at, that's where he's at for the week. He's got North, could genuinely go nuts, kick 6, score 150, and everything's fine. Zach Butters, really glad to see the green tick there. Got absolutely cannoned into by Sam Powell-Pepper. Old SPP, Lygon Street, Voldemort as he's known. You look at him for all the Harry Potter fans there, but look at Voldemort. Imagine he was on Lygon Street in Carlton, and bang, there's Sam Powell-Pepper. Not that I can judge, this is my fucking head. Stephen Canelio looks back to his best, just couldn't finish off his good work in front of the sticks, but who's going to complain about 149? Will Brodie found the ball at will. Andrew Brayshaw got tagged, so he was able to run a bit freer and ran the game out really well. His time on ground's improving, which means he'd be really stiff to miss out when Fife and Mundy come back, you would think. But Neil Erasmus would probably go. Nathan O'Driscoll would be behind Brodie in that pecking order. So I'm worried about the scoring output, but once that drops, he's going to be at a price that we're going to be able to flip him anyway. Bring in, whether it's a fallen premium or a guy that's just really, really dominating. There's still not a hell of a lot of forwards that are begging us to pick them yet. So until then, that's fine. Josh Rachele, he is going to come up in some trade talks in a tick. But for those of you that are cashing him in and he's the most popular player traded out, I had a look before. I get it, but he's playing Essendon, who are the worst team in the competition without the footy. Marvel Stadium, so the conditions are going to suit him. How he's not going to kick 2 or 3, have an 80 and go up in price and maybe be a cash out option next week or the week after. I just can't fathom how he doesn't get that 42. And if he doesn't, and he just plateaus in price, we're still going to be able to with the DPP. Flick him anyway next week. So are we going a week too early? Potentially. So at this stage, here's a hold for me. Hayes and Martin. I mean, Jack Hayes against the Hawks, kind of undersized. You know, Frost is the fullback, if you will, and Sicily and Denver Granger Barris are always giving away size and height whenever they're on the field. So it would make sense to do Marshall, Ryder, Hayes, King, and Membry, especially since Membry is this beautifully sized half-forward flanker type. Like, he can stand under a contest as well as anyone, of course, but when he's able to move, to run, use his agility, his pace, he's a good field kick as well and a beautiful kick for goal. So that can be a way that they can do things. Sicily on Membry would be a really cool thing to watch. And for my other thoughts on that game, go check out Talking Hawks. How's that? 2 massive plugs. So before we get to the trades, let's just have a look at the ins and the outs. Now, I said Rachele, we might be looking at a week too early. Might be, of course. Brodie Grundy. If trading out Brodie Grundy's your biggest problem, I kind of want to say fuck you, because, and Gawn there as well. Like, if they're your issue right now with your side and everything else is great, like, I envy you so much. But I'm definitely not getting rid of them. Stevens and Ward, we touched on them. Still a week too early. Ward's break-even's 9, and I think Dylan Stevens is either 2 or -2. So if Dylan Stevens isn't named, that's 100% justified, and we'll find that out today at the time of this video being released, or tomorrow at the time of being recorded. Whatever suits you better. Kings of continuity. So, again, I don't think Josh Ward needs to be traded out at all. I don't really understand why he would be traded out, so interesting, but let's go with it. Let's look at the ins. Tim English, I understand it, is number 1 forward at the moment. And, of course, he's got that ruck forward status. So having him in the forward line makes a hell of a lot more sense than it does having him as a ruckman. Especially because you're able to flip him with Hazel Dixon really, really quickly if, Gawn and Grundy go down. And how that will also help you during the bye. I don't think the Bulldogs have got the same bye as Collingwood and Melbourne. I don't think. And if they don't, Tim English is a must-have. So getting him in this week, it's the cheapest he'll be, arguably until the buys anyway, so can't knock that at all. Tom Green. Look, Jacob Hopper and Toby Green have got to come back. So if you're going, nah, I'm keeping him for the year, awesome. And I've got him in draft, so I'm reaping the rewards there, but I've got no interest in taking on his score for the next 20 weeks. It's not just about this week and next week. You really got to think long-term about these things, and especially spending over 500k. If I'm spending over 500k, I'm keeping them for the year. I just am. They need to be a keeper for me, and that's me. So if you guys are thinking different, comment below, let me know. Braden Pruce has played 1 game. Yes, he turned. He's played 1 game. Matt Flynn was good in the VFL. You usually play 2 ruckmen in this league. Flynn needs to play. And we need to know how he scores. And he's not on the bubble. Why is he coming in? Oh, Daz, we're cashing him in for Rachele and there. And what if he stinks? He's not on the bubble. Why? It doesn't make sense to me. Sam Doherty, he's going to be a top 8 defender, so I 100% understand it. And he'll keep going up in price. And again, I could flip Crisp to him. It would be a sideways trade, and I'm not a fan of doing that this early in the year. But again, can't knock it at all. And George Hewitt, look, in a magical world, I wish I could just go yes. And again, I could go Crisp down through him and pocket the cash. Again, it's a sideways trade. And if I've got a plan with the cash next week, is it cashing in a Rachele or a Stevens? There is a very real chance that if Dylan Stevens is named, I do go Crisp to Hewitt. That would be, best case scenario. In fact, I'll scroll up here so we can have a look. So if Dylan Stevens is named, because Josh Ward's going to be fit, we know, then I could go Crisp to Hewitt, and if my maths serves me correctly, that should give me 128k left over. Let's have a look. I apologise if this isn't the most fun part. This is not the time, internet, for you to be screwing with me. Highest price. I am amazed I am doing this well with glasses, without glasses on. You're just going to stay there and spin, aren't you? Yep, you are. Nope, I don't need you anymore. There we go. Where's our little drop-down menu? There it is. Watch me absolutely fly past Jack Crisp here. Nope, there he is. So, 664k. I'm not even looking for Crisp. I'm looking for Hewitt. Daz, where are you at, mate? So how much does that give me left? 110.7. Okay. So, looks good on paper. Sideways trade, 110k. Daz, what are we going to do with that? Now, what we would need to do with that money is either not make a trade next week or cash someone else in and eventually look to double upgrade. So let's have a look at upgrading for next week. So we would have 30 trades left, and then I would need to do a downgrade and an upgrade. And at this stage, let's say Dylan Stevens is the player. So Dylan Stevens down to a Jed McEntee, right? Who's 123k. Now, if Stevens goes, he's projected, which is another 20k, so he will be 222k. So let's just say another 100,000. So that's 210,700. Now, let's look at who we can get as a keeper who's going to be around that price. Do I want to cash in Bowie, sorry? Not really. Christian Salem's still out, and he's still going to have a really good break-even. So, no. Hinge, he's probably not going to be at a price that we can really get him up to a keeper. McCartan, definitely possible. Could we afford a Whitfield? Maybe. Could we afford a Sicily? Potentially. Caleb Daniels going to be around that price, and I'm really wanting to stay away from him. And Bailey Dale as well, but, you know, still iffy there. But we would need to be able to guarantee we can get Sicily or Whitfield next week for me to justify that. And McCartan's scoring's been pretty good. So, okay. Let's move on. Matt Rao. I'm not cashing in Matt Rao unless he's hurt. So, no, absolutely not. Horn Francis. He's scoring well enough. No, I'm not going to cash him in. Dacos. See what I said about Horn Francis. Ward. Why would I downgrade Stevens and upgrade Ward? And Ward's only going to be like 200k. So 420k for a midfielder? You're not doing that for a keeper. Don't be silly. Not touching the rucks, of course. And then I'm thinking these first four are going to be keepers. So trading in Will Brodie? I don't think so. And I'm not going to be able to get Brodie up to English. So no. Rachele? 460k that would give me, roundabout. You know, interesting. Who would be around that 460k mark? Would it be a Tomahawk? Does he drop that far? Unlikely. Taranto, he butchers the ball a little bit much. Zach Bailey, you know, scored really well last week. Yeah, it was against North. So we would have to wait and see. We're definitely guessing, and I guess that's the fun of SuperCoach. But I'm going to make the executive decision. If Dylan Stevens is named for Sydney, I am not making this trade. If Dylan Stevens is named for Sydney, I am going to make this trade. Now, I think there is a very, 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 very good chance that George Hewitt tags Tuke Miller and Jack Crisp outscores him because Crisp is going to have the freedom of no Jordan De Goey. So he's going to get more CBAs, more opportunities to score. Now, I care about points. So can this wait a week and then cash in someone else if Stevens is there? This is the fun of the game. So at this point in time, I am 80% not doing the trade. 20%, it'll depend on what's going on. But of course, team lists play such an important role. And that's what I'm saying to you. If you do make trades, these are going to go quick. COVID, so unpredictable. We need to be so sure of our trades. But at this stage, I'm going to be going into this round with no trades at all. But again, if Stevens isn't named, I'll knock Stevens down to Brady Hoff, who will be coming in. The Hassel, my man. And that will save me 90 odd K. So that will get me up to 111 anyway. And then next week, we'll look at what we do. So, all three scenarios are pretty good cases. I either get George Hewitt, who's definitely going to be a keeper, and I can use the money to make upgrades next week. Maybe I can effectively trade Crisp and McCartan for two keepers. That would be +1 in the keeper stakes. Fantastic. The other case, of course, I go Stevens to McEntee. Stevens to Hoff, 90 odd K. Crisp to Hewitt. Now that wouldn't be the 90K that it is now, because Crisp will go down and Hewitt will go up. So let's call it 40K. Okay, so we're at 150K. It would then have to be another cash in Rachele, maybe. Cash in Rachele. And then upgrade McCartan. It can still work. You can work with all three of these cases. So the reason why I like doing these videos later in the week is, like, I love the auto reaction, and we can do this and we can do that. Although there's still an amount of speculation in this video, because we know so many things throughout the week, and I only do this weekly, it's a good chance to chat. Now, if you guys have got any SuperCoach questions, comment below. Let me know. If you want to let me know your ranking and how well you're going to rub it in that you're doing better, you absolutely can. Please do so. But at this moment, I'm going the no-touch method for now. And of course, I'll update it as we go. If you haven't joined the Facebook page yet, please do so. Daz Talks Footy. I am trying to ramp up content that's going on there. And I'm back to uploading articles to the Raw as well. So you can get the links to all that stuff on the Facebook page as well. I want to be getting more fan interactive with you guys. Page unresponsive. That's just how good the internet's going. So I'm going to get out of here. If you're struggling with anything to do with SuperCoach, comment below. Would love to answer. If you haven't subscribed, please do so already. Enjoy your week, guys. The tips video is already out, so go check that out as well. Enjoy yourselves. I'll see you on Monday.